Hey guys, we're here with the patch 6.28 patch notes, and we're seeing extremely significant buffs to a ton of jobs, and this is definitely something that I can see playing out for some jobs as a massive and well-needed boost. And if your mind is thinking, hey, does he mean Machinist? That absolutely does include Machinist. This might be the nudge that they really have needed. So with that said, let's get into it. First up is Warrior, again getting buffs to Fell Cleave and then a tiny buff to Upheaval. Upheaval specifically is only a 10 potency buff, and so it's nothing crazy, it's like 20 extra potency a minute, but the Fell Cleave, remember, can be guaranteed to direct critical hit, and so you spam Fell Cleave a ton though, and so this 20 potency does look small on the surface, but anyone who has played Warrior can for sure say that they dump a ton of Fell Cleaves into the enemy. This will definitely add up. Next up is the Reaper, who has finally gotten some well-deserved buffs. Not sure if it's as much as Reaper mains wanted, but we're looking at Lemure's Slice, which you do cast decently often, being buffed by 20 potency. Plentiful Harvest, which you cast a lot less than that, is raised by 200 potency, and then lastly your Communio Finisher is being buffed by 100 potency to 1100, so it's a little bit more pinchy. Next up is going to be the Bard, where their Imperial Arrow skill is being buffed by 30 potency up to 230, which you are going to cast roughly 4 times a minute at 15 seconds cooldown, so you're seeing roughly an extra 120 extra potency per minute for the Bard. It's not bad at all. Now next up is the biggest concern of them all, which I have talked about so much, and so I'm so happy to see this, is the Machinist, and we're looking at some very decent buffs here. Heat Blast potency has been increased by 20 potency to 200, which we're getting off a ton of Heat Blast every time we use Overheat, and basically every ability generates heat, and so that's going to pan out very nicely, even if you only get 5 out of it every minute, which is really overly cynical to say. That's going to be an extra 100 potency per minute just on this, but again, that will usually pan out higher than that. Next up is a very much asked for buff to Wildfire, where every weapon skill added into it will be boosted by another 20 potency, which will make it significantly more spiky and allow bigger buff window bursts, and this will stack and obviously be amplified higher in that. Is it as high as I have been talking to Machinist mains with, who will be like, Cole, you didn't raise that, this should be like 300 potency? No, it's not as high as Machinist mains have talked to me and spoken. Like, we're talking about ultimate clearing Machinist. They wanted to see it a little higher than this, but we're definitely seeing it nudged in the right direction, so I wouldn't give up hope with this. We might see it pan out. And then the last set of buffs is Drill, Air Anchor, and Chainsaw. The big burst abilities are all buffed by 20 more potency, which on their own I wouldn't have said is enough, because we've kind of seen this buff in the past before where it was only those 3 buffed by 20 potency. But remember, with the 2 other buffs with this in conjunction, it might be really good. So I'm gonna wait and hold my judgment for the numbers to come out from actual gameplay before I say anything more, but seeing this stack of buffs all together makes me feel very much optimistic. Next up is the Black Mage, who has more than deserved a buff with how frankly difficult they are to play. In fact, I'd say that they could use even more buffs than just this, but Foul has been increased by 40 potency to 600, Xenoglossy increased by 40 potency to 800 to match, just since that's the single target versus AoE variants of the same spender. You're not going to be like double dipping into that. It's Foul or Xenoglossy you cast. I just specify that because I know I will be mentioned in the comments for that, and I'm like, I'm gonna get ahead of them. And then finally, a change that will be felt in literally everything as Black Mage is 1% extra increase to magic damage from Ino-chan, and not as many buffs as I think Black Mage could use and deserved, but it will definitely be felt. Now Summoner, which is my DPS like alt this expansion, is next, and we're seeing a lot of buffs here. Fester, you can cast twice in a raid buff window, was increased by 40 potency, so 80 more potency of Fester every minute. I will absolutely take it. Inferno, Earth and Fury, and Aerial Blaster, big AoEs from when you summon the pet for the first time, all get a 50 potency buff, so realistically that works out to 150 potency more every minute, unless you're crazy like me and run a spell speed build, in which case it's... Let's not dive into those exact things in this video. So Summoner, roughly 230 extra potency per minute. Yeah, I caught myself there, guys. I'm like, don't go down that rabbit hole. Now Red Mage is following suit and getting buffs to their melee combo that adds up to 60 plus 50 plus 30, which is going to add up to an extra 140 potency every minute, and then a text change to the passive Red Magic Mastery, basically saying, we're buffing these skills. And then lastly, we're ending on a buff to Sage, which obviously, guys, you're on my channel, makes me happy, obviously. Phlegma now hits 90 potency harder, and I'm always going to take an almost 20 100% buff, you bet I will. Nothing game breaking. I guess Scholar was pulling a little bit ahead and the devs are just like, okay, we'll make it a little bit more even. It's definitely welcome for sure. I love the Sage in its current state, you bet I'll take a buff. I am very pleased with this. Anyhow, that's it for this video. Going over the PvP changes in another video later because people are just like, okay, separate that stuff, don't close the video. I hope everyone though is very happy with seeing these changes. I myself can for sure say I'm very happy. I'm very optimistic. I can't wait to see the actual numbers pan out in game. Fingers crossed for Machinist. Anyhow, take care everyone, and I hope that you have an absolutely brilliant day. Oh yeah, and I should say this, people are like, you need to say this every video. So guys, as a smaller creator, I would super incredibly appreciate if you considered liking this video and hitting that subscribe button. I am a dork and I actually still do have it on my phone where I get all the notifications, and I am always so thankful whenever a new subscriber comes. I am so incredibly thankful to all of you. Anyhow, take care everyone, and happy Halloween. Nothing too spooky in the patch notes. Things look like really happy here. Take care everyone.